News at the top of the hour. I am Flora Ani. Here are the top stories. President Tinubu approves 50% electricity subsidy for hospitals and schools. Chief of Staff to the President, Gbajabiamila, pushes for joint funding in disaster response. Federal government enforces no work, no pay policy against resident doctors on strike. Lagos government awards certificates to homeowners in business. Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commissions orders traders to reduce prices, warns against exploitation on the foreign scene. Canada announces immigration reforms, ends visitor to work permit policy. Now the news in detail. In a move aimed at easing financial pressures, President Bola Tinubu has approved a 50% electricity subsidy for public hospitals and educational institutions across Nigeria. This decision, which reflects the administration's commitment to supporting essential services, was confirmed by the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Tunji Alausa, during a briefing in Kaduna. The subsidy, said to be implemented by the Ministry of Power, is designed to significantly reduce energy costs for public hospitals, universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. Dr. Alausa highlighted that these savings will allow institutions to redirect funds towards enhancing service delivery and education quality. In Kaduna, where Dr. Alausa spoke, several key projects at the National Ear Care Center were inaugurated, including a 200-capacity auditorium and an oxygen plant. The minister emphasized that this subsidy underscores the Tinubu administration's dedication to improving the health and education sectors with the ultimate goal of uplifting the lives of all Nigerians. Governor Uba Sani of Kaduna State, represented by the Deputy Governor Dr. Hadiza Balarabe, also praised the initiative, noting that the state will continue to support federal efforts in these critical sectors. He assured that with these collaborations, healthcare and education in Nigeria are poised for significant improvement. In a bid to enhance disaster management across Nigeria, Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, has called for a counterpart funding arrangement between the federal and state government. Gbajabiamila made this proposal during a fact-finding visit to the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA headquarters in Abuja, accompanied by Deputy Chief of Staff Senator Ibrahim Hadijia and other senior officials. The visit follows a recent retreat aimed at improving the efficiency of agencies under the presidency. Gbajabiamila commended NEMA for its active role in managing emergencies, but emphasized the need for better coordination and financial support from state government to ensure more effective disaster responses.
Flooding, as has been observed, is a perennial problem in Nigeria. It's year in, year out. A lot of this flooding can be prevented or at least reduced. I'm glad to hear that you do a lot of training in terms of what needs to be done, because manpower is also very important. It's not just about the money, but if you have the money and you throw it and you don't know what to do with it, I don't know how long or how regular the training is, because situations continue to evolve, technology continues to evolve. And I think it's important that we make that training as regular as you can. And I'm also glad you have which you talked about very briefly. I'd like to know more about that. Your National Emergency Operations Center. I think that's also very, 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 very key. The most important thing is for us to know what your challenges are. And I'm glad you got to it at the end of the day, to know how you do business, how it works, and then what are these challenges, how can we optimize your capacity and allow you fulfill your mandate fully.
Senator Hadajia echoed this sentiment, urging state government to step up their contributions to disaster management efforts, while assuring NEMA of continuous federal support to strengthen the agency's capacity to respond to emergencies.
Just like most of the recommendations come up, encourage NEMA to focus on preparedness and prevention. I understand that that has been part of their processes. But I know that there's a significant funding challenge based on the fact that their traditional source of funding has been eroded because most of this money is going directly to the states. And I know they are also inundated. NEMA, everybody calls for NEMA, including the state governors. And I'm sure Chief will remember during the legislative days, not a day will pass when somebody will not raise a motion and include a NEMA response, including incidents of banditry that will border on security. I think the DG has a work cut out for her. I'm sure with the chief here, most of your issues will be given the attention they deserve. But I think we also need to help Myanmar to alert the state of their responsibility towards emergency response so that everybody does his own bit.
NEMA's Director General Zubaida Umar provided a comprehensive briefing on the agency's operation and led the visitors to the National Emergency Operations Center, where they were updated on the current flood situation in Nigeria.
Our vision is to build a culture of preparedness, prevention, response, and community resilience to disasters in Nigeria. Our mission is to coordinate resources towards efficient and effective disaster prevention, preparedness, mitigation, and response in Nigeria. Some of the responsibilities and functions of NEMA are listed here. We formulate policies on all activities relating to disaster management and coordinate the plans and programs for efficient and effective response to disasters at national level. We monitor the state of preparedness of all organizations or agencies which may contribute to disaster management in Nigeria. We collect emergency relief supply from local, foreign sources, including international and non-governmental agencies. We liaise with state emergency management committees established under Section 8 of our Act to assess and monitor where the distribution of relief materials to disaster victims.
The visit highlighted the federal government's commitment to enhancing disaster preparedness and response through collaborative efforts. The Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has invoked the No Work, No Pay policy against resident doctors who embarked on a 7-day warning strike despite ongoing negotiations with the government. This action, which aligns with existing labor laws, was announced following the doctors' demand for the release of a colleague who has been held by kidnappers for over 8 months. Ado Bako, the ministry's spokesman, clarified that the government decision was not meant to undermine the concerns of medical professionals, but to ensure that essential health care services remain uninterrupted. The strike, which began on Monday, has drawn attention to the ongoing security challenges facing medical practitioners in Nigeria. Bako also revealed that high-level efforts involving security agencies are underway to secure the release of the kidnapped doctor. The ministry urged resident doctors to return to the negotiation table to collaboratively address the challenges facing the healthcare sector, stressing that constructive dialogue remains the best way to resolve disputes. The strike has sparked widespread concern, with many calling for a swift resolution to prevent further disruptions in the healthcare system. The ministry's stance underscores the government's commitment to maintaining order while addressing the legitimate grievances of its workforce. The Nigerian Labour Congress President Joe Ajaero has reaffirmed his unwavering commitment to the labour movement, describing it as the most patriotic organization in the country. Addressing a large crowd of union members at the NLC headquarters, Ajaero vowed that the union would not waver in its dedication to advocating for workers' rights. Ajaero's comments came after his release from a police summons where he faced allegations ranging from terrorism financing to treasonable funneling. Despite these charges, Ajaero downplayed the ordeal, recalling similar challenges faced by labor leaders during past military regimes. The labor leader emphasized the importance of unity and solidarity among workers, urging them to remain steadfast in the fight for better working conditions.
Solidarity! Comrades, I want to thank every one of you. Thank all comrades in the states that are in various state commands that are praying that those that have been fasting since morning can break their fast now. Comrades, the labor movement is worth dying for because of the patriotism and commitment. Labor movement is one of the biggest pan-Nigerian organizations. Our patriotism from the days of colonial government to even the period of the military is unshakable. We are more patriotic than any other institution you can think of in this country. And we are going to continue to be that. We have gone there and we are back. I just want to confirm to you that as a citizen, I've gone there and we are back here. So, and you can't do this job we are doing without this type of hazard. It's expected. And for those of you who called me, I told them that this is the hazard of the job. So, comrade, even at the unit level, some of us experience this. You know, as far back as 97, 98, I was telling Falana, we were pulling together in the cell, enjoying ourselves during the time of Abacha. So, comrades, but what is important is the circumstances, you know, that took you to that place. But whatever is the case, we are out to continue the struggle. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are out. We have gotten minimum wage, but which has not been implemented. Yes. So we have to press for its implementation as soon as possible. Yes. Every other thing that will make the welfare of the Nigerian worker to be worthwhile, we will be involved in it. We will not listen to any distraction.
He also took the opportunity to thank the NLC members for their solidarity, which he described as crucial in the ongoing struggle for workers' rights. In a significant milestone for housing development, the Lagos State government presented certificates to homeowners who have successfully completed their mortgage payment under the state housing scheme. The event held on Thursday in Ikeja highlighted the government's ongoing commitment to making home ownership accessible to residents. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, speaking at the ceremony organized by the Lagos State Mortgage Board, emphasized the state's dedication to addressing the housing deficit by partnering with private sector to deliver affordable housing. The governor noted that the state has initiated and completed numerous housing projects targeting low and middle income earners, including notable developments such as the Lagos Homes project in Iporin, Lekki, and Ikorodu. Sanwo-Olu also encouraged homeowners to take advantage of the current amnesty period to regularize their title document. During the event, the governor also renamed the Ilupeju housing scheme after Muftau Olatunji Hamsat, the late father of Deputy Governor Dr. Obafemi Hamsat, as a tribute to his contributions to the state. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja has expressed confidence in the Nigerian military's ability to secure a decisive victory in the fight against terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping. Speaking at the closing section of the combined second and third quarters conference 2024 in Uyo, Lagbaja assured Nigerians that the military efforts are yielding positive results. This optimism comes as a defense headquarters announced that a total of 1,166 terrorists were killed in military operations across the country in August alone. The Army chief noted that while challenges remain, the feedback from commanders in the field indicates that the military is on the right path to achieving lasting peace. In Abuja, during the bi-weekly briefing, Major General Edward Buba, Director of Defense Media Operations, revealed additional successes in the military's ongoing operation, including the arrest of 1,096 suspected terrorists and the rescue of 721 kidnapped civilians. Let's take a break. More stories coming your way.
This is Housing TV Africa on YouTube and click on the subscribe button. Subscribe to Housing TV Africa to stay updated on latest happenings in Nigeria's housing sector. Follow our social media pages, like and share our posts. On Facebook, Housing TV Africa. On Twitter, Housing TV Africa. Instagram, Housing TV Africa. Join the conversation and keep up with latest housing updates.
Glad to have you back on Housing TV News at the top of the hour. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has issued a stern warning to traders and market stakeholders, giving them a one-month deadline to reduce the prices of goods and services or face enforcement actions. This directive was announced by the FCCPC's new Executive Vice Chairman, Mr. Tunji Bello, during a stakeholders engagement in Abuja. Bello expressed concern over the rampant practice of exploitation pricing, citing an example where a blender sold for $89 in the United States was being retailed for almost 1 million naira in Lagos. He stressed that such practices are harmful to the economy and vowed that the Commission will take decisive actions after the one-month grace period. The meeting, which brought together various market stakeholders, also highlighted the challenges contributing to high prices, including transportation costs, multiple taxation, and insecurity. Traders at the event defended their pricing strategies, attributing the increases to the rising cost of doing business in Nigeria. Despite these challenges, Bello called on traders to demonstrate patriotism by adjusting their prices and cooperating with the Commission. He warned that failure to comply will result in severe penalties, including fines and imprisonment. As part of its ongoing efforts to combat crude oil theft in the Niger Delta region, the Nigerian Armed Forces has urged international oil companies to adopt transparent practices and deploy accurate metering systems. This call was made by Major General Edward Buba, Director of Defense Media Operations, during a press briefing in Abuja. Buba emphasized the need for greater cooperation among stakeholders in the oil sector, including local communities, to effectively tackle the issue of crude oil theft. He noted that the military is committed to enforcing the persecution of those involved in illegal oil activities, recognizing this as a critical step in eradicating the problem.
Of Operation Delta Safe maintain the momentum against the activities of perpetrators of crude oil theft. The troops continued to find and destroy illegal refining sites, as well as arrest the perpetrators of crude oil theft. Our operations in the course of the month spiked the nation's daily crude oil production to cross the 1.5 million barrels per day mark. Nevertheless, as part of our operational efforts, troops are urging for more transparency by the international oil companies operating in the region, transparency with the deployment of accurate metering system. Troops are also seeking cooperation of stakeholders in the oil sector, as well as cooperation of the local communities.
During August 2024, troops of Operation Delta Safe made significant strides in curbing oil theft, arresting 54 individuals and recovering over 3 million liters of stolen crude oil. Major General Buba reaffirmed the military's dedication to ensuring that Nigerians' natural resources are protected from illegal exploitation, with the ultimate goal of securing the nation's economic future. The Canadian government has officially ended a temporary public policy that allowed visitors to apply for work permits from within the country. This policy, introduced in August 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic, was initially intended to assist visitors who were unable to leave Canada due to travel restrictions. The Immigration, Refugee and Citizenship Canada announced the termination of the policy as part of broader efforts to regulate the number of temporary residents and maintain the integrity of the immigration system. The policy, which was set to expire in February 2025, will no longer be in effect after August 28, 2024. According to the IRCC, some individuals have exploited the policy to mislead foreign nationals into believing they could obtain work permits through fraudulent means. The termination of this policy aligns with Canada's ongoing immigration reforms, which aim to ensure that only eligible individuals are granted work permits. The IRCC encouraged visitors who wish to work in Canada to explore the appropriate channels, such as applying for a work permit before entering the country. Gernot Roy, head coach of the Titans of Benin Republic, has announced a 25-man squad for their upcoming Africa Cup of Nations AFCON qualifiers. The Benin squad will face Nigeria in Uyo on September 7, followed by a clash with Libya 3 days later. Leading the squad are forwards Jody Dosoi and Steve Monnier, who have been instrumental in Benin's recent successes. Additionally, leading the squad are Bashirul Sika from Cotton FC and Samado Atijukoi from Bani Gerson FC, as he looks to strengthen his team ahead of these crucial matches. That's the much we can take on Housing TV News at the top of the hour. Before we go, a quick look at our top stories. President Tinubu approves 50% electricity subsidy for hospitals and schools. Chief of Staff to the President, Gbajabiamila pushes for joint funding in disaster response. Federal government enforces no work, no pay policy against resident doctors on strike. Lagos government awards certificate to homeowners in business. Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission orders traders to reduce prices, warns against exploitation. On the foreign scene, Canada announces immigration reforms, ends visitor to work permit policy. To get more news in the housing sector, subscribe to Housing TV Africa on YouTube. Follow Housing TV Africa on all social media platforms. Don't forget to download the Housing TV Africa mobile app on Google Play Store and App Store to stay connected. I am Flora Ani. Thanks for watching.
When the city is getting too loud, you need a home. Home is love, peace, and tranquility. Home is Housing TV Africa. Housing TV